Hey Bronco folks, a little information here that I wanted to pass along. I was working on my Bronco here, trying to do some updates on it, and I wanted to put in one of these single wire alternators. The old ones have about 60 amps, and I wanted to up this to a little bit better, plus my headlights are kind of going in and out, you know what I mean. Came across something that I didn't realize when I started putting it in, and I want to tell you all about it. So if you are putting in a new alternator in your Early Bronco, then I hope this video helps you a little bit and maybe saves you some time, because I couldn't find a lot of information on it. It's out there. You got to dig really deep to find it. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't know enough about it. Some folks will say, yeah, well, you should have known that. Well, I didn't know that because it didn't tell me I needed to do that. But I fixed the problem, and I'm on my way now to... So I've been changing out a lot of parts on my engine to try to update it, make it look better, that sort of thing. And one of the things I wanted to do was replace the alternator. Wanted to go to one of the 3G one-wire alternators in order to just give me more power, hide some wires, overall better. Replace, and I'm to the point where I'm ready to stick a key in it and give it a try. So I stuck a key in it and turned it, and nothing. I got no headlights, no power, nothing turned over, absolutely nothing. Fully charged battery, good connections, good grounds. Went through and checked all my grounds. I spent 2 days troubleshooting, trying to figure out what in the world I've done. Got online, did a little research, couldn't find much. But I did run across one post on one of the Bronco forums that gave me a lot of good information as far as what my problem was, because there was a few other folks out there that had this problem, and that's what this video is for. If you're putting in a new alternator in an old Bronco, you're going to need to know this. I have a bucket of parts here. I have the old water pump, the power steering pump, my old alternator right here. I took that off, and I have been working on this thing for years, but really kind of getting more into making it look a little bit better. I wouldn't mind taking it to shows if it's, you know, just for the fun of it. But replaced the power steering pump. New radiator. Got a new radiator, supposed to be a lot better. That was another ordeal in itself. Water pump, painted all my brackets, and got my my one-wire alternator put in. Wired it into my solenoid. So when you're putting in the new alternator, let me show you the problems I ran into doing mine. And what I've got here is what they don't tell you, at least for the Early Bronco, and that's what this video is for. It's not for every car that's doing a one-wire alternator, I'm sure. But on the red post there's a wire that's hooked to it, and it is a black wire with a yellow stripe. At least for my 1976 Bronco, that's what I've got. And that wire feeds power to the fuse block, which is inside your glove box, inside the cab of the vehicle. It feeds power to your switch, and it feeds power to your lights. So that's why I had nothing anywhere. It's because that wire had no power hooked up to it. So in order to get power to that black wire with a yellow stripe, what you're going to need to do is hook that directly to your solenoid, which is on the battery side, or hook it directly to the battery. In either case, what you're going to need to do is get you a fuse block, and that's what I've got here. Got a fuse block with a bigger fuse. It's actually, what I got was an 80 amp, and it's probably not big enough since my alternator is 100 amp. But I installed that, and I installed wires to go to it, and I'm going to show you that here in just a second. But let me show you this. You know, when you take the old one out, you're going to have this wiring harness, and that's one of the big things you want to get rid of when you're doing the one wire. You're unplugging everything, and they say, okay, just run one wire from the battery lead over to the solenoid and ground the alternator, and you're good to go. But what they don't. This has a Bojack mega fuse, and I got the 80 amp. But what it does is it has screw holes right there, and you take that and you mount it to your fender well, and you put your fuse in there like so, and then you run your wire into one side of the block, which will come from your battery or from your solenoid positive side, the battery side. And then coming out will be that black wire with the yellow stripe that feeds your fuse block, which is in your glove box in your Early Bronco. Not sure what other years it goes to, but at least in my 76, that's what it feeds. And when I got that wire and I cut the harness off of it, and I tested it, grounded it, tested it just to see if it worked. And sure enough, that was the problem. It's got to have 12 volts feeding that fuse block in order to get you power to your switch, to your lights, and to everything inside your cab. So that's what I did, was put in this mega block. And let me just show you what I did to make that work. So number one, I made sure I had a good solid battery, and this thing charged up good, was 100%. Solenoid, I made sure everything was wired up good there, because I have the wires going out to my starter and solenoid on that side coming out, and then battery cable is feeding my solenoid, and then I have the battery cable from my one wire alternator, which goes into the positive side of the solenoid. And then in order to, well, let's find it here. I got it here somewhere. Here it is. This is the wiring harness connector that I cut off right down here. It's just hanging there right by the solenoid. I unplugged that when the wires that went to it when I put in the alternator, because I didn't need them anymore. But there is a black wire there with a yellow stripe, and that's going to have some power. And I believe that's a number 10 wire. So what I did was take the wire itself, which is now inside my my fuse block. But you can see I took that black wire, the yellow stripe, and crimped an end on it and put it there, and put my fuse block there, and then coming out of it, or coming into it actually, is the wire from my battery cable. And that's the only way I could figure out a good way to attach it, which I did. I put an end on that and just screwed it right into my battery cable. I used a number 10 wire, and these wires may not be quite the size I need for my alternator, and you might want to check all that before you go doing it, because I'm probably going to find out here later that my wires aren't big enough. But I just went with what I had. And you definitely want to put a inline fuse from your battery to your fuse block, so you don't have any issues or problems inside your cab. So that's what that is. So if I do have any issues, it should burn that thing up pretty quick and tell me, nope, you need something bigger. So that's what I did. I took that black wire, the yellow stripe, and I got power to it, because you got to get power to it. And I did it from a battery post into a fuse block. You could use 100 amp, maybe 120 amp, 100, something bigger than whatever you got as far as the rating on your alternator. And that fixed my problem. Now my lights work, my switch works. Everything in my cab works now, because that wire is going to have power feeding it. All I like is putting in my fluids, my radiator, and I'm going to stick a key in this thing here this afternoon and see if I can't get this thing fired up. All I like is my electric choke, which is my wire right here. And I'm actually going to reroute that all the way around, back behind the block. And this is where my coil used to be before I put in this new electric ignition. This red and green wire right here on this coil that went to your coil, this thing is 12 volt hot with a key. So you know, when you hook up an electric choke, it's got to have 12 volts so it gets warm and opens up the flap on the carburetor. So that's my next thing before I actually try to start. If this video did you any good, you like what you saw, maybe subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Have a good day.